Hi, welcome back to another edition of Max and Nicky 1000th Time Reactions.
Where we react to a song after listening to it for our 1000th time.
We release 3 videos a day.
Every day.
So make sure to hit that subscribe button.
And turn on post notifications.
So you don't miss out on all this great content of ours. What are we going to listen to right now, Max?
We're going to listen to Alone Again Naturally by Gilbert O'Sullivan.
I love this song. I mean, I really love this song.
I love this song.
It really is one of my favorites, and the lyrics are great. And
Well,
we'll get into that later, but we've listened to this song so many times.
If you're new to the channel, what we like to do here is listen to the song all the way through without stopping.
So we don't ruin the intention of the artist.
That's right. And then afterwards, we'll discuss what we
talk
thought
about our
it.
reactions.
We'll go into depth about analyzing, the lyrics and the production of it.
And maybe talk a little about the history of it if we know some history
we know
about
something about it. Before we do that, though, as we normally do, we like to mention that we have another YouTube channel called Max and Nicky,
on which we perform oldies, tunes, jazz standards, and originals in that vein.
and we got comedy videos on there as well. But for right now, let's take a listen to Alone Again Naturally by Gilbert O'Sullivan.
For our 1000th time.
Here we go.
A little while from now, if I'm not feeling any less sour, I promise myself to treat myself and visit a nearby tower. And climbing to the top, will throw myself off in an effort to make clear to whoever what it's like when you're shattered, left standing in the lurch at a church where people are saying, my God, that's tough. She stood him up. No point in us remaining. We may as well go home, as I did on my own, alone again, naturally. To think that only yesterday I was cheerful, bright and gay, looking forward to what wouldn't do the role I was about to play. But as if to knock me down, reality came around, and without so much as a mere touch, cut me into little pieces, leaving me to doubt. Talk about God in His mercy. If He really does exist, why did He desert me in my hour of need? I truly am indeed alone again, naturally. It seems to me that there are more hearts broken in the world that can't be mended, left unattended. What do we do? What do we do? Alone again, naturally. Now looking back over the years, whatever else that appears, I remember I cried when my father died, never wishing to hide the tears. And at 65 years old, my mother, God rest her soul, couldn't understand why the only man she had ever loved had been taken, leaving her to start with a heart so badly broken. Despite encouragement from me, no words were ever spoken. When she passed away, I cried and cried all day, alone again, naturally. Alone again, naturally.
the lyrics are...
Shivers here.
I'm getting shivers. It's so interesting. This is like
The
kind of
lyrics
a poppier tune, but the lyrics are really kind of depressing, actually, you know?
I mean,
they're really good.
For a pop commercial song, I mean, he's talking about suicide here in this song, you know? I mean,
Right.
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what does he say? If he says something like, if God does really exist, then why did he desert me? Or the
Right,
lyric-
it's almost like, you know, even in his hour of need, he doesn't even have, you know, this, you know, God to accompany him, you know, which is interesting.
in my hour of need, I truly am indeed alone again, naturally. God, I'm getting shivers just thinking about the lyric. It's so good.
It's very good. I mean, it's kind of hard to focus on. I mean, I was trying to focus on the production aspect of this, but you're just so caught up in the lyrics of this song,
Sure,
because they really are that good that you even though I've heard the lyrics a lot, you just want to listen again because it's, you know, it's very, you know, touching, you know, to hear. It's very, you know. Yeah,
Despite
it's poignant,
encouragement
you know?
for me, no words were ever spoken. And when she passed away, I cried and cried all day, alone again, naturally. I mean, it ends on that kind of note, too, you know? I mean...
Right.
It's just kind of about just being alone.
Well,
and
obviously, loneliness and just...
dealing with death, you know?
and sort of what's, you know, thinking about what's the point of it all, I guess. And there is something almost like... It sounds like he's, you know, resigned to staying alive because it's almost like, yeah, his natural state is to be alone. So there's this resignation in it, you know, perhaps, you know.
Yeah, I mean, gosh. Anyway, obviously the song, I mean, there's a lot of cool things going on in the production, too.
Well, I noticed that, you know, the drums, I think, were on the left, right?
I can't even remember, to be honest.
I think they're in the left, but I think I heard the reverb or a delay in the right ear, which was kind of
Obviously,
interesting.
the initial acoustic guitar comes in on the right ear.
Yeah, I think actually for the most part, this whole song has, you know, obviously there's an orchestra backing him up, but acoustic instruments for the most part. I think the only thing that is electric in here is the bass, I believe.
But if that is even, it might be an
I'm
upright
not totally
bass,
sure,
you know?
actually.
But there's this orchestra that
It's not a
comes
very
in
present
and,
bass,
and
by the way.
like winds come in.
There's
I mean,
a
I guess
piano
like
in
a
there
French
too,
horn,
right?
I guess.
The piano.
Huh?
Is there a piano in there, right? Too.
Yeah, he plays the piano.
Oh, that's right. Of course. Yeah. It's a very good song.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, you know, if you don't know his other stuff, check out the song Claire, which is really good too.
And he has this sort of sweet, this vocal style that has this sweetness to it that makes you want to sympathize with him more. You know, it's not heavy-handed. It's very.
It's interesting the
light
way he
and
sings.
kind of has a sort of. There's a slight feebleness to it in a way, if that makes sense. You know?
The way he sings, it does kind of remind me almost of like some of those early Beatles songs, the way they would sing in a way. Like there's something about the sort of accent he sings with. I mean, I know he's I don't know, is he Irish or I mean, I think
so.
O'Sullivan? I
O'Sullivan?
would assume, but
Gilbert O'Sullivan?
he might be British, but you know, the way he sings is kind of very much of the time in a way.
Yeah,
You know?
Irish,
yeah.
right?
But
sense.
gosh, it's
He
such
almost sounds kind of like a little bit like the Bee Gees, even actually.
yeah, a little bit about like the Bee Gees actually. Well, the Bee Gees when they first started, people thought it was the Beatles, you know, under some kind of pseudonym, right? If I'm not
Yeah, they
mistaken.
did, but I don't really quite understand that actually. I mean, do they sound different, you know?
Sure. But man, this is a great song. Just analyze the lyrics. Look up the lyrics, you know, even more in depth if you care to.
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
really good.
again, it's just this to be a pop hit. It just seems like it's like a precursor to the Smiths or something and the Cure. You know, it's interesting because that, you know, the '80s. I guess that was kind of part of the '70s. There was a lot of I mean, the late '60s, you saw a lot of change happen, and people were becoming more conscious and aware and more introspective about their lyrics. Everything wasn't, you know, about love and you know, or just you know, or and sort of good times or anything like that. There was a lot of although there was a lot of heartbreaking songs back in the day, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
Actually, I will say there's that song, "Last Kiss," actually, which is kind of an interesting song. You know,
Maybe we'll react to that.
you know, I mean, there were these early '60s, late '50s songs about, you know, talking about Dead Man's Curve kind of thing. You know,
Sure,
which is
yeah.
kind of a, you know, morbid thing to talk about in a pop song.
Anyway,
So I guess there's songs that have kind of always, but this particularly, I mean, to be a pop hit, it has some interesting lyrics going on. You know?
yeah, it's a great song. I think that'll do it for this reaction video. If you like what you heard and saw today, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on future Max and Nicky reaction videos.
Please keep tuning in.